Hi, everyone, and welcome to TWF Friday Night Smackdown. I, Mike Lane, with Sarah Shiver and with Wade Barrett, and today on Friday Night Smackdown, we have a good show here today on Friday Night Smackdown. Yesterday, we learned that Divatox and Eric Bischoff want to be back in might and oversight here in the toy wrestling gathering, but will that happen? Mike Lane says. We know that Astronema, the force setter, and head leadership wicker, and Stephanie McMahon, the underforce setter of the TWF, would make scene that Divatox and Eric Bischoff do not come back into leadership. Well, Mike Lane, I wasn't in a toy wrestling gathering when Divatox was doing things or when Eric Bischoff was doing things. But I can make a guess from what I saw from Eric Bischoff's time in WCW, his time in WWE, and his time in TNA. If there's anything I go by, they're most likely not good things at all, Sarah Shiver says. Well, Wade Barrett says Eric Bischoff did some good things, I don't know, in the AWA. He's somehow out of luck made WCW bigger than WWF at the time. And his first run in WWE, he was the main wicker of Raw, and I guess he did all right there. And then his time in TNA, he wanted to get TNA to be as big as WWE, but that didn't happen. And then his two-whiff run and three-whiff runs in WWE, well, it didn't quite go the way that he wanted it to go. But I don't know how Divatox and Eric Bischoff, how they're going to work together, or what they're going to do, or what Astronema and Stephanie McMahon are going to do to stop Divatox and Eric Bischoff. Well, your guess is good as mine there, Mike Lane says, of what's going to happen there or not. You know. And now we're going to go to the ring now because we got Sin Cara coming out. Sin Cara says, I want to make it known that I think I could be a good TWF Allegheny Share fighter. That I believe in my mind that I could do it. Now, Becky Lynch is going to say that, oh, she's the greatest TWF Allegheny Share fighter there ever was, but we all know that's not true. We all know that there's been many of them going back to at least 23rd between a while when this strap first came into being. And she'll tell everyone about how she was the only great one. And how she showed the whole world how to be great. Because, wish to say, from the early BLs until the late YLs, the world didn't know how to be great. Is that right? So, I know if I had another match with Becky Lynch, I know I would beat her. And I know I'd be the TWF Allegheny Share fighter. And let's be earnest. Everything Becky Lynch has said and done, and her whole time, it has not been, a good thing at all. You say that bloody shit to my Lear. Alright, I'll say it to you, Lear, then. I think everything you've done in WWE and the TWF was good, but to say that it was great, that's a whole other thing. You see, you like to behave, Becky, as if you were the only one that ever did great things. In the beginning, if it wasn't for, let's say, Alundra Blades and what she did in WWF, if it wasn't for folks like Trish Stratus and Lita, I hardly doubt you would have been getting into the skilled wrestling business. And I could also hardly doubt that you somehow believe in your mind that the whole world from the early BLs into the late YLs, never did anything great until some wrestler comes along, and then somehow some wrestler comes along and is in the main show of Wrestle Madness, and then goes on to beat two other women wrestlers, Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. Somehow goes on to win the WWE Women Heavyweight winnings many times, and the Women's Royal winnings many times, and wins the WWE Women's Tag Team winnings 2 times, whatever. Galled in a Boundary win, whatever. Kingly Thunder winner 2 times. Oh, because the whole world didn't know how to do anything great until you came along. And I know that I can beat you. But we all know you'll cheat. You'll do something that's unfair. And then you'll tell everyone how great you are. You want to have another match with me, Sin Cara? You think you got what it takes to win the TWF Allegheny Share winnings? Yeah, I believe I do. You know, Rebecca, you're not the only one in the world who believes in their skills and their craft. So, why don't we do this match now? Unless you think that you're not man enough or woman enough to do it. To do it. Well, I do think that if there is a man or a woman who is man enough or woman enough to take away the TWF Allegheny Share winnings, it could be anyone. So today, Becky Lynch will fight Sin Cara for the TWF Allegheny Share winnings, and this match will happen now. Well, we just heard from the main wicker of the toy wrestling gathering, Ric Flair. And now we're gonna have the match now. Mike Lane says this match is for the TWF Allegheny Share winnings. First, he is Sin Cara, and she is the TWF Allegheny Share fighter, Becky Lynch. Ding. Here it comes. Oh! And Sin Cara just drop kicked it down Becky Lynch, and then body slammed her right on that W likeness, and body slammed it again. Sarah Shiver says Sin Cara does bring up some true things. Becky Lynch believes she's the greatest woman wrestler that ever was, and that no one else out there was greater than she was. Hey, I don't know if Becky Lynch believes that or does not believe that, Wade Barrett says, but I don't want to be on her bad side. Wade Barrett says, like she has a good side, like she has a good side, Sarah Shiver, like she has a good side, Wade. The way she's behaved, I don't think she has a good side. I don't know if she's got a good side or a bad side, Mike Lane says, but I do know she's got an 8-full side right now due to Sin Cara. Sin Cara stinger splashed her in the ring steeple. Sin Cara is going to get ready to win the TWF Allegheny Share winnings. Here it comes. Sin Cara missed, Mike Lane says. Sarah Shiver says, oh, Becky Lynch did the manhandle slam to Sin Cara. Looks like this match is over, Sarah Shiver says. Yes, Wade Barrett says, thanks for coming, Sin Cara. I guess you were not man enough to beat Becky Lynch or win the TWF Allegheny Share winning. 1, 2, 3. Ding, 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 ding. Here is your winner. Here is your winner, and still, here is your winner, and still the TWF Allegheny Share fighter, Becky Lynch. Well, Mike Lane said Becky Lynch is still the TWF Allegheny Share fighter, and she beat Sin Cara here today on Friday Night Smackdown, Mike Lane says. Well, you got that right, Sarah Shiver says. That is what we saw happen here today, Mike Lane. And Becky Lynch, at the end of the day, will truly believe that she's the greatest woman wrestler, or greatest woman fighter, or greatest woman overstar to ever live. Well, she thinks way high of herself, Wade Barrett says. And if she's guilty of pride, I wouldn't know if she's guilty of pride or not. But if she is guilty of pride, then it's a sin she don't care about, Wade Barrett says. All right, take it away, Michael Cole. Thank you, Mike Lane. And Sarah Shiver. I'm going to be talking with Becky Lynch here today on Friday Night Smackdown. All right, Becky Lynch. You once again beat Sin Cara, and you were still the TWF Allegheny Share fighter. Well, Michael Cole, did it strike you that I was going to beat Sin Cara? Was there some doubt that was in your mind that you thought Sin Cara was going to win? The man never loses. I always win. You know, I always win, Michael Cole. Sin Cara thought he was man enough to beat me, but he wasn't man enough to beat me. There is no woman or man that can beat me. I'm the greatest who ever did it. Wow, you seem to have a lot of pride in yourself, Becky Lynch. And you also seem to truly believe that you're the only greatest woman wrestler that there ever was. That's right. You see Alonja Blades, and you see Trish Stratus and Lita. They could never be as great as I was. They could never be on top as long as I was on top. You know. And need be, I can outdo. And I surpassed them. I surpassed Alonja Blades. I surpassed Trish Stratus and Lita. And any other woman wrestler past or now that someone wants to throw their name at me. And I will always surpass everyone else. Well, that's my talk with Becky Lynch. Back to you, Mike Lane and Sarah Shiver. Well, thank you, Michael Cole, for talking with Becky Lynch here today on Friday Night Smackdown. And that's all the time we got here for Friday Night Smackdown. I, Mike Lane, with Sarah Shiver and Wade Barrett. We hope you like Friday Night Smackdown, and we'll see you tomorrow for Collision or Hit.